I-Pace. But ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Mark II. I'm just going to move up here a little bit so we stop our microphone squeaking and meet the owner of this wonderful X351XJ, and looking very mean, sir, in black, might I say.
Indeed.
How long have you had it?
9 years.
I thought you had a smile on your face as you came on. He's got his massage seats on, everyone, you see. That's what's going on here. It looks mean, this car, and very much probably the most aggressive Jaguar ever designed, I think. Michael, a real departure, isn't it, from that 1968 Mark I XJ6 that we saw a moment ago?
Yeah, this is Ian Callum over here somewhere, and his team dragging Jaguar into the 21st century. A completely new look, incredibly stylish car, and such a revelation to drive. These cars are incredible. And these are the last cars that we supplied at Creamers before we moved on to Polster's new. And just a really accomplished car, and I think we really enjoyed this.
Well, we'll really enjoy it as well as it heads up the strip now, here at the Moving Motor Show at the Summer Jaguar Festival. Thank you so much. And let's see what we have next. We have, of course, Ian Callum with us, and we have another one of his creations on the way in just a moment. I've just been told, can you please hurry up? Well, I shall do my best to hurry up, and I will hurry up with this wonderful looking Jaguar I-Pace. Now, we've looked at all sorts of different moments in Jaguar's history, and this is a real pivotal one, really. This is the beginning of the future that we're about to witness. This was Ian Callum bringing the first all-EV Jaguar to Jaguar's lineup, the I-Pace, now sadly discontinued, but this is where it all began, and you can see much higher roof lines now with electric vehicles, but very much still a Jaguar. It still has that Jaguar feel behind the wheel, doesn't it, Paul?
Absolutely. Fantastic car. It's really a wonderful place to be, and you can drive it really precisely all the time. It's always in the right gear at the right time. It's always coming up, and I'm a member of the Institute of Advanced Motorists. They teach you how to drive to the code of driving, and this car just absolutely does everything that you want to do. It doesn't suit everybody because there's different ways of learning about how EVs work, and you've got to get used to them, and it won't suit everybody. But for me, it absolutely suits really well.
Well, we'll hear it roar up the strip, but it will roar up, ladies and gentlemen, very quietly. Jaguar I-Pace. We have another saloon name coming through, and we'll run this one straight up the hill. Off you go, sir. That's, of course, the XJR version of the X350, the all-aluminium car. As that heads up our little strip here as part of the Moving Motor Show. And next we have the true successor to the Jaguar E-Type, of course. Jaguar's F-Type that arrived in 2013, launched initially as the coupe. The convertible followed a year later. Weirdly as well, launched and coincided with the XK that came before it. Quick chat with John Hunt, who's behind the wheel. John, you're the coordinator for F-Types for the club, aren't you?
That's right, yes I am.
And a nice V8 engine underneath there.
Well, actually this is the V6.
Oh, okay. It sounded good, but it turned out, oh, you fooled me.
I turned the exhaust boost.
Oh, I see. So, very good. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at here is the end of an era. This is the very last all-petrol, or, of course, all-internal combustion engine sports car that Jaguar have made. This is the end of it. This is where sports cars with internal combustion engines end and the future begins. Discontinued in May of this year, built again at Castle Bromwich, and we're about to see, taken to the hill, the F-Type, our dynamic V6. You know, big Now remember, I talked about the very start of when Jaguar became Jaguar, back in 1935 when Jaguar Cars Limited came out of the original Swallow name, and this was the car that, in sports car terms at least, bore the Jaguar name first of all. There was a saloon as well that had the name Jaguar, but this, the SS100, really started it all. It was an SS90 that came along first of all, of course. The 100 was slightly more powerful that followed it. Underneath here, there was the engine and the chassis. The running gear derived from the Standard Motor Company still, and this was pretty much the last of the Jaguars to run that configuration before they made their own engines post-war from 1948 with the XK. But a phenomenal car to sit here at the Summer Jaguar Festival, an amazing piece of history, and really the moment where Jaguar truly became a sporting brand, I think, wasn't it?
It was indeed. This car is an evolution of the real thing. Very hard to tell the difference unless you know what you're looking for, and I couldn't afford a real one.
Well, it still looks beautiful to me, and it allows us to remember how SS turned into Jaguar, of course, with the SS100 towards the end of the 1930s. So, up the Moving Motor Show here at the Summer Jaguar Festival. Take it away! Your grandfather must have been pretty proud of that car, I would think.
Yeah, for a first attempt of designing a sports car, I think he did a pretty good job. And it really put SS on the map and the Jaguar name to the world. And he was determined to do a sports car that would be able to enter competition and really start to put Jaguar's name on into the global attention. And the SS100 was, I think today people recognise it very clearly. So it was a very important car, and of course it developed into the SS1 and became really the bedrock.
Well, we're going to move the cars through now because we have somehow hundreds to get through, it seems. So 1970s XJ Coupe, it says in the back window, and here is a wonderful coloured one, truly 1970s. Let's run it up the hill as the vinyl roof shows true 70s style there, with the XJ, the SS100 coming back, and the XJS next, of course, the follow-on to the E-Type. Let's move the cars along. Up we go. We have this XJS all the way from Germany with us here today. As we'll run that one straight up the hill, please, sir. Off you go. The facelifted XJS is here as well, as they went out to the 80s into the 1990s. Another of the XJs here, the X350 of course of the early 2000s, all aluminium body, sovereign, so there's lots of nice toys in there as well. And we'll run that straight up the Moving Motor Show. Off you go, sir. Lovely doggy in the back seat there. As we head into Jeff Lawson's era of Jaguar here now, as Ford took over the brand, of course, the Jaguar S-Type, celebrating its 25th anniversary, and great to see that styling from the early 2000s here as well, as the S-Type makes its way up. And here's a car that I saw at Beaulieu, Simply Jaguar, very recently, looking stunning in the sunshine it was too. And heading up the hill, we'll let him get straight on up the hill. Off you go, sir. One of the much earlier flagship saloons there then, and in a very fetching ground as well. Give him a big round of applause. Looking stunning here at the Summer Jaguar Festival. Another one of our F-Types now here, the F-Type convertible, looking cool in the sunshine there as it heads on up the hill. F-Type R. That's the V8, that's for sure. Sounding brilliant as he heads along. And we're talking about the early saloons here, the compact saloons, late 1950s. Of course, the Mark I that gave birth to the Mark II we were talking about earlier on. Fantastic racing cars in their day as well. They're starting off the British Touring Car Championship as we know it today in the 1950s, looking stunning here in a well-patinated but well-loved condition, I think, as this car must have many stories to tell, I'm sure.
Yes, and technically this is unique, so it's the previous owner was a good friend of mine who restored it underneath, so mechanically it's perfect. just keeping it that right side of originality. It's never going to be, it's just as it was on the film, albeit with some California feature.
Absolutely. Well, it did well to survive the sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark 1 Saloon here at the Summer Jaguar Festival. Here we have another of the Castle Bromwich built cars, of course. A much more modern version of what the market was opened up for by the X-Type and others, the compact saloons of the 1950s really, and you can trace the line all the way through to these as well, the XCs and XFs, built at Castle Bromwich of course, in Birmingham there, all aluminium body, looking very nice in the contrasting red and black, looking excellent on the hill, so take it away sir. Now, the early beginnings, of course, of Jaguar as a sporting brand, we saw the SS100. During the Second World War, they were on fire watch, making sure that the factory at Falls Hill was protected, and while they were having all that spare time on their hands, of course, what they developed up there with the amazing brain and engineering now, Sir William Lyons and his team, was of course the XK engine. Launched the world in 1948 as the XK120, and eventually went through these various different changes and evolutions as it went through the 1950s, and it ended up with this at the very end of the 50s, the XK150, the largest of them all, far more touring focused than sports focused, and for tall drivers like me, an XK that you can actually get your knees under quite nicely. So ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the XK150. Off you go. Another of the compact saloons here with a very nice sort of modern interior going on in here, and I'm liking all of the lovely sumptuous leather, sir.
Yes, very good, nice office.
Nice office, absolutely. Well restored then, this one.
Yes, I think so. It's been in the Jaguar magazine, so the series has just finished about a month ago, so everybody's seen it for installation.
Brilliant, must be good, fantastic. I love the little grills on the front wings there, looking excellent. Bit boy racery. Bit boy racery, brilliant. There we are then, Mark II, heading up the moving motor show. Off you go. Cars that we have up here. We were talking about the Mark 10 and 420Gs earlier on. Everyone's looking very glamorous there in the car, all having a good time. Yes, is this the sort of car that all of your mates are really jealous of for proms and stuff?
I'm not too sure.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
You should sit in the back. You're sat in the back. Do you like wave with your subjects and fans, do you? You do? Alright. Well, show us your best wave now as you head up the moving motor show. Off you go. Wow. We've got about 10 times more cars than I thought we would on this moving motor show, so we'll keep them going through at a pace. And we have here the X308, of course, the Super V8 with all the Daimler bits on it, and the Daimler badge, the XJ saloons with all the extra luxury in there, of course, and the Daimler brand that was bought by Jaguar, really to buy in a lot of engineering expertise that they had at the time, and it was used as a luxury mark on their saloon cars. Another F-Type takes to the moving motor show as well. Again, March, XK here of course, ran all the way to 2014, 4.2 V8, really lovely way of cruising the roads of Europe, I would say. Fantastic looking car in this, lovely sort of pale blue, I would say. All the way from the Isle of Man, excellent. Well, let's see that V8 in full effect then here on the moving motor show, this wonderful XK. Give him a big hand. Much the most powerful version of this line of cars, and whilst it was a nice sumptuous tourer, this one really had some aggression, some poke to it. Has it got plenty of poke? Yes. Show us the poke. Off you go. Fantastic. Another of the big regal-looking saloons then, as it heads up the movie motor show here, the Mark 9. Really, the Jaguar was synonymous with luxury during the 50s and 60s. Now we had the Swallow Gadabout earlier on, the moped of course, that came along through. And Frank Rainbow that devised that moped and sold so many of them, then went on to design his first car. The problem was, Frank Rainbow had never designed a car before. Furthermore, he had 8 months to try and put this together. And Frank working for Hellywells at the time, then part of the Tube Investments Group, had the tubular frame that these cars were built on, alloy body as well, and sharing lots of parts with Triumph's TR range, the TR2s that were out at the same time. The Swallow Durettis this year, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating 70 years since the launch in 1954, and another example of where the Swallow name ended up after Sir William Lyons sold it on to Hellywells Group at Walsall Airport. And some really important cars that we've got lined up here. These lovely Swallow Durettis, that TR2 engine. The one at the back here is Dave's, and this is the Silverstone racing car. They wanted to prove the car as a race car, to take it to Silverstone. It competed just the once, did very well, and here it is. Dave has spent a lifetime looking after this car and restoring it. And this car really came to an end when Sir John Black, who was a good friend of Sir William Lyons, had a bit of an accident with his test driver Ken Richardson at the gates of the factory. They crashed it. That notified the board and the Triumph that he went away and came this car with Hellywells and sanctioned it. And that was really the beginning of the end for Sir John Black at Standard Triumph. Swallow Durettis then, 4 of them celebrating their 70th anniversary. Very welcome here amongst Jaguar circles, but they're still part of our story, and this is part of our story as well. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the last car that Jaguar now make. This is it. This is all you can buy from Jaguar as we currently stand here today. The F-Pace, but not just any old F-Pace. This is the SVR, and it's not just any old SVR either. It's a special edition in itself, and a big V8 engine under the bonnet. Okay, heading up the hill then, and the SVR F-Pace is just real monsters of SUVs, a great bargain car as well. And give the Mark 9 a big round of applause as it comes back down the Moving Motor Show here, and the Swallow Durettis as well. That's wonderful, as we have another X350 heading up the line there. Full aluminium body on this car, of course, and behind it another of our XKs as we track the progress of the XK from the 120 through into the 140, where things got a little bit bigger. Of course, great pride in the Le Mans victories with that badge on the back that denotes the victories of 1951 and 1953 of the C-types, of which, of course, this car shares its engine with. This was the middle ground between the 120 that came in 48 and of course the XK 150 that would end the XK line before the E-Type arrived in 1961. Let's run both of these XKs up the strip now. This one in a very fetching red, this 150, and it's great to have the 140 and the 150 together, because here you can look at the differences between the two, how the 140 evolved, got larger, more comfortable, much more space there, and of course all of this dripping chrome that you had to have on your car to sell it into the American market, and looking absolutely beautiful and stunning in that dark metallic red. So off you go on the Moving Motor Show. Thank you very much. And that somehow has closed the ridiculous amount of cars that I wasn't expecting to see here on the Moving Motor Show. To all the owners who have patiently sat behind the scenes there waiting for their moment, a big round of applause please. Let them hear your appreciation. I'm going to need a stiff drink and a lay down now, Michael.
Wayne, I thought you conducted that beautifully. And what you can't talk about Jaguars is not worth talking about. Your knowledge is extreme, far better than mine. It is. The whole thing is a story, and it's all been laid out in front of us here, and it all makes so much sense, as you say, to see the cars in motion and hear them rather than just seeing them parked up. So good initiative. Thank you, Wayne.
And thank you to the grandson, ladies and gentlemen, Sir William Lyons. Great to have him here and great to have him by my side. Michael Quinn, everyone. Well, it's very warm out here on the Moving Motor Show. I'm going to have a quick drink. I suggest you do the same. Make sure the sun cream is topped up. And we'll be back with more interview action in just a moment.